denied, but I was surprised that two of that panel was okay. They were okay.
You know, there is a feeling in our society that
Yes. It doesn't break through. The legislature can pass a few additional exemptions if they want to. And that may happen.
Morning.
Family and consumer science, huh? Yeah, Jamie's typically a little bit late to this meeting anyway.
Yeah, he says 30, 40 minutes late.
You're gonna be Commissioner Stubb.
Then you have a work session.
Yeah. There's no
action items.
just informational, kind of not. Maybe a little disrespect to
Someone's sharing with you.
the king.
Right.
Actual commission meetings. That one.
Juan doesn't feel slighted.
Which presentation do you want first on your guys's?
Probably the PowerPoint.
This one?
report was actually meant just for everybody, I guess, the commissioners to look. And the PowerPoint's just kind of like a summary of the report.
Okay, so this one here.
Yeah.
Okay. We're live. All right. I'm waiting for a quorum. I'm waiting for anybody.
So it'd probably be just Sylvia or Commissioner Stubbs initially. Jamie will be here, won't he?
He's in my office, logging into
Oh, he's in there now?
another meeting.
Oh, okay.
His other job.
Okay.
And so you have to show attendance by logging in and turning off your video. Yeah.
We have that. Yeah, multitasking. I only pack up when the meeting ends and they're still on.
Yeah. But we're giving you credit for being on time, and so I don't know what credit is valued at, but
We'll take
you were on time. So you guys have a full day though too, right? Yeah, because aren't you guys heading all the way down to Monument Valley and
No, that's tomorrow.
tomorrow? Okay,
She has they have a full week.
We have a full week.
full week.
Yeah.
The president's coming.
Yeah. Well, I'll announce after Ryan's able to give the report just some of the updates and stuff that we have.
Okay, that's cool.
Still okay?
Yeah, no, nothing.
Okay.
Yesterday I was reminiscing of my office space that is not there anymore. It's the elevator.
Yeah. Really, I didn't realize that they had it over here, huh? Weird.
I was separate from the other, and where Ryan and Jerica's offices, it was just one great big one. And I think so. Jim was where Reagan is, and then Jim moved when you built the wall.
Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That wall was there. So when Kara was replaced Jim, I think that's maybe when they put the wall up.
Huh. It's like 2017, 2016?
Yeah, probably around there.
Huh.
Commissioner.
Wow. Aha.
And I used to see her in the
On his meeting.
We used to put
All
on
right.
Four Corners Conference and those things. So yeah. She was after me. So yeah. So Jim Kais and Dana was at the end, and Anna.
Pressure cookers and
Yeah.
They just have
nice to see
two
you.
offices down.
Anyway, I guess so. Good morning.
Good morning.
Doing good.
All right.
Nice to see you here.
Good to be here.
Okay.
We are just waiting for a quorum.
You have to have a quorum to do the
Work session,
Work
any
session.
meeting.
Is that, I
think
didn't realize it was that late.
Just
Here I am visiting
Yeah.
It's just an informational meeting. I think you can start.
and she's,
No decisions, right?
I gonna brag.
No
In a work
counting.
session, no decisions are made. It's just presentations,
So couldn't we
information,
start without?
deliberation.
Do you know how
You don't have
Commissioner,
a quorum to start. So,
do you know how Commissioner Adams always brag about his fifth graders?
uh-huh.
I wanna brag. I have one of my former students here in the audience,
Aw,
and she works
that's
for
cool.
the college now.
Time goes by so fast, huh? It's just crazy.
One of my very, very good students.
Yeah. So we know Commissioner Harvey is here. Haven't seen Commissioner Mon.
Yeah, I don't think she's coming to this meeting.
Who's
She's
that?
not coming to
That's
the
what I
meeting.
heard.
Who's that coming?
Commissioner Moore's not coming to this meeting.
Okay.
'Cause that's what I heard. I'm a hearer of things.
Okay. So she's out all day?
No, I think she'll be at the commission meeting.
Okay.
Jamie's name. Oh, nice to work with Jamie. He's gonna have a trust fund. Cool. I know him since.
What about,
He's worked on one of the chapters.
we're talking about BYU sports. The transfer portal. Looked like Rob Wright was gonna go, then he came back.
He came back, that was
And
real.
then we got Colin Chandler.
Is that basketball or football?
Basketball.
Okay.
I was real pleased.
And there's rumor that they've got their eye on a big tall guy that's
Yeah.
international player.
Yeah, that would be good.
Can you imagine if they could get him? That's one thing we didn't have, is a really dominant big guy.
Yeah.
We had good.
I could have done really well in March Madness if it wasn't because I put BYU in both bracket. A home in here, I put BYU as winning.
Me too.
You know, I would end up really high in the list.
No, you are.
I was very impressed by going mini, 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 more. Every time I tell Brian, and she said, listen, and Brian go,
My wife did that, she won our family one.
Shows you there's some arbitrariness, like it's just, you know, different, how much skill is there really in doing the bracket? There's a little bit, but
It's all about the
Yeah.
matchup.
yeah,
Well-
yeah, that's what you have to really be able to be good at, is knowing, you know, a team's different strengths and weaknesses and how they match up with the other team.
and we went with Arizona because my grandson wasn't playing. So he's from Arizona, and he went for the other one. That,
Arizona Wildcats.
Yeah.
I had them winning it all, and I thought they were going to once
It's in conversation.
they just kind of.
we have a March Madness here going on. Sorry.
Came out.
Is this one mine?
Did we know
But they,
where Commissioner
you know, if they
Harvey's
could take
at?
that game
In
back.
In my office.
Oh, he's in the
might come
office.
back and
So
beat
he's gonna
Michigan
come
and
pretty
win
soon.
it all.
Okay.
I hope.
No,
Such a surprise. I mean, Big 12's pretty physical,
well,
and they got handled. They
I had no
just
title, but
shoved all over the floor.
we're just waiting to have a quorum before we start.
Didn't
Yeah.
respond
Okay.
until late
Yeah.
in the fourth quarter.
So are you guys excited about having, I don't know if it affects you guys or not, but having a new person in charge of the college and being a new what you call it, an administrator, what is,
The associate vice president?
yeah. So I heard you guys having quite a few interview. I only saw one. And then Friday I was gone to Moab all day. And then yesterday, I didn't know they had one yesterday. And today I'm here, so. But I heard the one yesterday was really good.
Do
you have people that are coming in for it, or local?
We got some local, but I don't know where everybody in person. I just had a Zoom meeting, and he was on the campus, and I was in Blanding at home watching it. But
Your husband taught there, right?
yeah, so we'll see. I don't know. I'm sure it's exciting for the people that are watching out the speakers to see. But my husband in the back, and myself both work at the college. So I have probably 20 plus years there.
Really? It's the seventh best?
And things I can claim is the quad. That's an idea that I have for the students with black hair. People think we don't burn, but our head burn when you sit in the sun.
Last year,
We took out just a cement slab, and remember, Suha used to be a cement slab and some picnic tables and no place to receive the parents. And I was very naive. I said we just need 3 walls and some window and a roof. We had $70,000 we thought we can do. But then ended up being, had to have engineer, firewalls. And then somebody said, well, let's do a second floor. In that kind of room, I designed, I want to have a cafe style. We can have concert, and they had to put an elevator there. So, but it's okay, divided the areas. But it was a really, really good thing. I love going there because I see all the chairs and furniture was made by the prisoners there in the point of the mountain when they used to have the jail there. And so it was exciting when we got that furniture made. That had been many, many, many years ago, and they still look good. So
I think it's just that it's not just the students. I think the whole community comes there.
oh,
You know, like they come for like
For
people from
food,
outside
I
the
mean,
come for dinner, their families. You know.
they cannot advertise, but they have the best hamburgers. The person that used to manage the patio went to work at a college, and so he used to own the patio. Went to work at the college, so they have similar, and it's good. We were there last night. I mean, sometimes kind of when you have a laundry, it's kind of hard to cook for just 2, so we just went there. But anyway, so.
So Ryan, tell us a story, man. Like, no.
I remember being here in the very commission meeting when there was a whole crowd of us, and we're asking Commissioner Steve Black about why there isn't a Navajo Nation flag anywhere.
Oh, really?
And so
It hadn't been here before?
no, it was just the Utah and American flag.
Okay.
So we sat in here with them. I think it was 2024. No, it was 2010.
Okay.
And we sat in here and we asked them.
That's
not him,
pretty
but
cool.
The commission at the time that we just thought it'd be appropriate to have a Navajo Nation flag. And so,
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
And since then, he agreed.
Yeah.
So,
And then we don't know if the Ute Nation has a flag. You know, I mean, we surrounded by
they
many
would.
nations. You know,
Yeah, they
yeah,
would have
they
a
do,
flag.
and
And
so
so,
I have some good stories.
I don't know if the Paiutes have a flag. I don't know. It's kind of,
yeah,
but,
have to represent, huh? That's cool.
So I have in my office where the elevator is.
Yeah,
So Bill Red would always come in and talk to me every day that he would come up and
really?
yeah, and gave me great stories. He told me I needed to get my PhD, which I do not have. So maybe I should listen to that.
You'd be finished by now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Loan would be paid off.
By the end of your career, though, you've probably done many PhDs.
Yeah. That's true.
I know I've considered a PhD, but I love school. I love the education component of it, but I hate the work. I don't want to do that final. It's like a final book report where you have to do your thesis and come up with something. I avoid that, and so
learning is fun.
yes, learning is fun. I love that. But when I think back when I was going to school, I hated those classes that you had to take that you really had no interest in.
And the book you have.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, yeah. And so that's what stops me from going back into those things. It's like I don't want to take that course, and so I don't want to do a thesis report.
What was the most interesting course you took?
What's my interesting course? You know, I'm weird. So I took a geology course down in southern Utah, down in Dixie. I loved that class, you know, because all the different layers and structures and sediment and all the rocks and absolutely yes. And so it's like, why is the mules here like that, you know, down on the southern portion? And to me, that was a fun course, but yet my degree is in business and finance, and so it was kind of interesting, those courses that you wouldn't expect, that you're like, oh, this is kind of cool. And so one day when I grow up, I'll be a geologist. And so
So you also know Justin.
Yeah, yep.
So tell us some stories about him because he's our interim vice president.
I know. So he was the Reagan for me in Davis County, and so he's just a good person, you know, good heart. He'd always come in and talk and present to the commission there in Davis County, and he just, to me, he reminded me of like what USU represents in my head, is more of that agricultural farmer. We would have people literally carrying branches into the building and things like big branches, not just a small one, so that he can analyze it and tell them what was going on with the trees and that. And so he was always good. He was always stop by and just chat. And so that was pretty fun. It's fun to see him just kind of his career path grow up. And so, yeah, good person. So it'll be fun to watch him kind of at that level.
That's what's wonderful about the university. I remember one of the first times I went into the ag building, I walked down the hallway and there was this giant, like, bush thing.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the world are those? And
Yeah.
I am not a gardener by any means. And they were, someone's like, oh, those are Brussels sprouts. In this beautiful new building, right?
Yeah.
Freshly dug, like, huge Brussels sprout. right?
Bush. Yeah.
And they were, doing some analysis on those, and I was like, okay, well, I ended the
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Totally. Brussels sprouts. I don't know why anybody would grow those. So, yeah.
So when I was asking, do you know if this council closed, when I know until you get there, you said 7, they tell you we can have a meeting. 'Cause
Yeah.
they have to be doused.
but you cannot present if you don't attend. the
Butter. Yes.
Butter.
But once you put balsamic vinegar on them, I'm like, oh no.
The county is paying
That's
us
my
to
wife's.
do it.
She loves them just drenched in balsamic, and then she'll bake them till like it caramelizes. And I'm like, nope, I'm out. Yeah.
I ride with Renee.
Yeah, I'm like, oh no, don't do that. It's like, soak them in butter. Yeah. So true.
That was delicious.
This time when I went to her, she was
Oh, too
very
funny.
cautious. She kept looking at him. And so I just tell, so I
He's literally just in there. So we're just waiting for his meeting to be
He
done.
was a student in college. He's running against me. So I just went and sat by him and gave him a talk. And we talk and we, let it go over this. And then he got up in the front and he declared his candidacy. And I running against my opponent. We've been sitting there chatting. And so they're being really good. I say I'm not campaigning. I just here to be, to represent the county. So,
What is it there? What is it there?
Aha.
That's what she said.
Good morning, madam.
The one thing said we cannot do it.
Jamie. How are
Good
you?
morning, Commissioner.
You guys waiting?
You are the chair
Because
of this as the vice chair.
Okay.
You are it. Commissioner
Oh, man.
Jens mentioned Commissioner Mon wasn't able to attend this one.
Okay. Okay. Well, we're wasting time, and I wasted 22 minutes of it. Shoot. I'm so sorry, guys. Please forgive me.
We had great conversation.
All right.
We're reminiscing about the history of the county building.
Yeah, totally.
All right, Lyman, ready when you are. Ready? Okay. Okay. Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here this morning. Appreciate you being present with us in Commission Chambers. I'd like to call this meeting to order. It is now 9:23 a.m. That's Mountain Standard Time, right, Commissioner Stubbs?
Yep.
Yep. Okay. Let's go ahead and do roll call. And this is starting our work session meeting for the Board of Commissioners.
Commissioner Stubbs here.
Commissioner Harvey, present.
That's it.
All right. And just for, do we need to record Commissioner Mon, Madam Chairwoman isn't present for the record? Okay. All right. Moving on to our agenda items. I'll go ahead and let Mac review the agenda items for us.
Yeah, so this first one is Family and Consumer Science Director's visit. We have Heidi here today. And well, we actually have the whole USU team is present. So this is USU Extension giving us the presentation today. And so we'll just turn the time to them to go through. And I've got your presentation here and we'll take it however you want. And so if you can come to the microphone on your presentation, we'll turn it to you. Ryan, you're presenting?
Yes,
Go ahead.
Okay, all right. Thank you, everyone, for the time and giving us the consideration of kind of explaining some of our opportunities that we have for USU Extension. Commissioner Stubbs, Commissioner Harvey, and members of the county administration, thank you for being here as well. My name is Ryan Benali. I've lived here in San Juan County all my life, less the times I was in the military and when I was in college. So it's really nice to be with Utah State University in my current role, helping the community out. You know, all of us here are invested in the county residents and the needs and concerns and how we can improve our quality of life here in the county. And how we do that through Utah State University Extension is that we actually have different departments to kind of center and concentrate on our ability and our roles to meet the specific needs for all the county or all the needs of throughout the county. So I'll just go ahead and talk about my side of things. So there's Utah State University Extension office here, and you have Ag and Natural Resources, which is under our county director, Reagan. And then for me, I cover a home and community department. So that entails a lot of program areas, as you can see here in this introduction slide. And so we'll just go ahead and start off with kind of my main areas are health and wellness, youth development, and community outreach. And the service area obviously is throughout the county, whether it's, you know, on the rural side of the county to the municipalities over into the tribal areas as well. Okay, and this next slide, as you can see, it's kind of like what I like to say, why I do what I do, why our office does what it does. So we have to have a lot of background and a lot of, we have to have the necessary justification to make sure that our work is valid and that we're seeing the needs and that we're connecting the dots. And so I'll just go ahead and go over a little statistics. As you can see on the slide, county population as of 2024, 2025 is about 14,600 approximately. It ranges from 14,600 to 14,800. Unfortunately, we have had a
a reduction in population. I remember those numbers being above 15,000, but we're trying to stave that off, obviously, with new and innovation programs, more opportunities for the county. My home and community, like I mentioned, also it involves food nutrition through efforts to kind of stave off and fill the gaps in terms of food insecurity. And so just some statistics, as you can see here. The food insecurity, so I broke this down into the key challenges between the state of Utah as a whole and here in the county. So with the state of Utah, the current numbers, I put 19% in terms of household food insecurity throughout our population, as opposed to the state of Utah, which is 9%. Same with child food insecurity, 23%, 12% throughout Utah. Poverty rate, it's 18%, as opposed to 9% throughout the state of Utah. And we'll go ahead and jump down to as a result of those kind of disparities, let's look into the free and reduced lunch. For Utah, the free and reduced lunch program, it supplements the whole state at about 30%. And those are numbers from the Utah State Board of Education, okay, from 2024 to 2025. But here in Utah, every single school, so the entire school district, qualifies for free and reduced lunch. So, why that matters, it drives the need for our extension programming through efforts to implement food nutrition, food education, demonstrations, the whole. So I'd like to say that in our next slide, this is probably why I implement, I would say, our flagship program here in the county, which is Create Better Health. It's a food nutrition education program, food education in terms of making sure that our participants, whether they're in different stages of life, whether it's primary age students to high school to adult age and to elderly age, we don't see any differences, or residents being on and off the reservation. Both are, we're a county, we're a whole county community, which is why the efforts for Create Better Health is necessary, nutrition education. Since 2023, when I came aboard, here are just a little factoids. I've involved myself in the whole program to making sure that we've implemented direct education for the program, seeing that we've provided direct education to 2,174 participants, and that's like whether it's a one-off series or like a whole series of 4 to 8 program sessions with students, elderly, county residents. Outreach, so like tabling events or making ourselves available so that, during things like for instance, we just had the Utah Navajo Health System's 25th anniversary celebrations throughout the county at their different facilities. We were there making sure that our program is known, that it's available for the community as a service from the USU Extension. So in total, about 4,000 is our total reach since I came aboard. And currently, just kind of breaking it out even more, our current fiscal year, we've had about 700 participants. And that's direct education and, our outreach efforts as well. So we're always trying to expand, Create Better Health delivery, and for instance, Head Start programs, high schools, like I mentioned. And these are high schools, for instance, Monument Valley, Whitehorse, San Juan High, they're in Blanding, and Monticello here in Monticello. So at the same time, we have the program is available. I've made it available to our different Head Start programs. So like in Oljeto, under the Navajo Nation Head Start program, in Blanding, the Rural Utah Child Development Head Start as well. And as I understand it, some of our ambassadors are really proactive. Our former ambassadors provided our program to kind of the primary age students here in Monticello as well through Food, Fun, and Reading, which is a staple program for our primary age students. And so at the same time, Create Better Health was a SNAP Ed funded program. So you have the SNAP program. So when I say SNAP, we understand it as like food stamps or EBT cards. They had an education component as well, which was federally funded. Unfortunately, in July of 2025, that funding stopped as a result of federal budget cuts. However, the program has continued on because there's that need here in Utah. I've given the needs analysis in the first slide. So we know that there's a need, so much, even more so here in the county. So I believe that Create Better Health is a necessity. So continuing on that work, despite the discontinuation of federal funding, is, I think, something that's necessary for the county, for our county residents. So despite the Create Better Health here in Utah has continued on, we've pressed on so that we're able to provide, necessary programming for all the residents. So it just represents a consistent countywide presence for nutrition education as well. And we pressed on. So also one of the program areas that our side of the office does for USU Extension is youth tobacco prevention. The state of Utah implements a SHARP survey, which is a survey of kind of the assessment of our youth throughout the state, and specifically here as well as specifically here in the county. So the SHARP survey kind of gives us a window and an idea of kind of where the priorities are, kind of the where students feel and see that commercial tobacco use is within kind of their little environment as they're going to school. And that using that SHARP survey and kind of some other statistics, we're able to provide a I wouldn't say intervention, but something so that at least there's a type of prevention here in the county. And using those connections with Create Better Health, we've went ahead and simply added on the youth tobacco prevention within the school systems as well. And since then, since I initiated it last year, we've reached 176 student youth through 11 sessions. I was working in partnership with the county health department, and they provided like a really simple 5-question survey. And on that survey, 84% of our students understand that tobacco is a major issue. They see vaping as risky, and 93% reported no use. So, the impact from that indicates that our strong prevention is working, so that intervention, kind of just explaining the education, the risks of tobacco use is, it's they have a good understanding of it. Okay, if you could go on to the next slide. So Utah State University Extension also implements the 4-H Youth Development Program. It's an expansive national program facilitated through many of the land-grant universities and kind of the community programs and adult volunteers. It focuses mainly on youth leadership here and providing like the necessary interest in creating a spark for student youth to find what they want to do, what their life could be beyond high school, and so that they could be contributing members of society. Here in San Juan County, I focus on the specific areas of leadership, public speaking, college and career preparedness, and STEM engagement. Through opportunities like the Ignite by 4-H Youth Conference, I've taken students to Washington, D.C., like last month, so that they're able to expose them to other students who are excelling throughout the nation, that they can build relationships, and that their interests here in the county within their schools, if there's other students that are doing things that they feel is better or that they can improve their work here, at least they'll have that that engagement, so that they can provide that same type of communication, of leadership and college preparedness. Any of that, they can bring that back here into the county. I've done other things called Pathways to Higher Education, which is an opportunity to take students from San Juan County. And I work in partnership with Grand County's Extension Office. And we take them to USU main campus there in Logan, providing some really neat workshops, agriculture, farming and ranching, STEM kind of and college orientated workshops. So at least the students from here will get a feel of what's available at USU main campus, what life could be like beyond, where they could see themselves as college students. And we've done that last year in June of 2025. We're going to do it again this year. So if you know any students are interested, we're still in a recruiting phase right now. In other programs that I've done here in the county, in-school programming, other leadership opportunities, and experiential learning as well. From my work, specifically, I was able to reach over 300 youth participants here in the county. Okay. So this is something that I'm starting to implement more and more of here in the county as the food preservation programs. Supporting, obviously, the need for that is supporting food security and self-sufficiency. Rural areas like Utah, we have limited access to fresh foods. For instance, we've been called a food desert. There's only 3 grocery stores here in the county. So as a result, USU provides, they actually run a program called Preserve the Harvest, using evidence-based knowledge, information, and research to provide methods and ways to properly preserve, and safe ways to preserve food. So in this instance, I provided I facilitated a food canning workshop, one in July of last year. We got 13 participants here in Monticello and throughout the county. You won't believe how many people will actually come to a workshop like that. We've gotten people from Dove Creek, from Shiprock, Monument Valley, and of course here in Monticello. So it was a really neat workshop. We had our latest one just this past Saturday, the same place over at the Lions Club on San Juan, over at the San Juan Fair grounds. And we had 11 participants. Again, they weren't just from Monticello, they were from all over, from Shiprock, Monument Valley, all over the county, coming to just understand the basics and the safety of providing themselves that food preservation element so that they can do some canning at home. So we did some really neat canning methods, the hot packing and the cold packing, kind of ways to can your own food safely. Just some outcomes and impacts from that little event. Participants reported increased knowledge of safe food canning practices. Majority reported increased confidence in their ability to preserve foods. Nearly all participants within that event stated that they intended to apply these skills within the next 6 months, and at the same time, we're also going to provide more of those food canning events next month and, in July as well. So with USU Extension, it's not only just providing services and programming. We have to sustain those programs through financial means. So through my side of the office for USU Extension here in San Juan County, this is just kind of a snapshot of the successful kind of grants that we've been able to obtain for our programming. So we have the, I always get this wrong here. We have the Utah Health, let's see here. Okay. We have the Utah Health Improvement Plan. So we're going to initiate a program here in Grand County, or in San Juan County and Grand County, using a $40,000 grant supporting community health initiatives and program expansion for youth. We have the UCOR grant that we were awarded in about $18,000, again, in partnership with Grand County here in San Juan County as well. Outdoor education, leadership, and more of that experience learning, kind of appreciating our nature, natural resources, and how we can sustain ourselves into the future. The Youth Tobacco Prevention Grant, our latest program was awarded $20,000 for this year. Last year was about $15,000, I should say. And then This was really neat. So I mentioned that I took some 4-H students from the county to the youth conference there in Washington, D.C. This is a new sponsorship that I kind of tested out. It's through the Utah Division of Indian Affairs. I applied for 2,500 and I was awarded 1,500. So we're able to use that for our travel costs and the like. But I thought it's really neat just to highlight some of these funding sources, just show that, not only are we providing that sustained financial means for our programs here in the county, but it's providing real impacts for our county residents, our youth. And the overall impact for our county, kind of just to close it up, 4,000 residents served, expanding our partnerships, increasing program reach, just kind of staying within that mission for our university mission to serve the needs of our county residents, the state of Utah through, evidence-based and research, learned information. So I think that should be all of it, right? Okay, so finally, future plans. So continue nutrition education. There's a need. Educators and school administrators are still asking us to come back to the schools. So, I'm not going to stop that. Like I said, it's our flagship program here in the county. A lot of impacts from that. We're going to implement our first, this is the first year I'm going to implement the Veteran Trail Ride. It's a neat little program under Utah State University Extension called Ride Utah. I'm working in partnership with the 5 Phoenix stables there in Lisbon Valley. I don't know if anybody knows Marjorie Hahn. Yeah, it's her ranch. We're working in partnership with her and Dr. Carl Hoops our Dr. Carl Hoops is Ride Utah to provide some veteran trail rides or some trail rides, horse trail rides for veterans. Kind of just that horse therapy kind of thing, get them out of isolation. Our veterans, the ones I work with at least, and also here in the county, and at least have a different experience in terms of mental health and rejuvenation. Expand youth programming, youth development programming, more preservation workshops. And this is something that myself and Mac have talked about, just throwing around an idea, but I think it's something that could work, is potential for a medical insurance education program, hopefully something like a certification program, where San Juan County is our partner in terms of economic development and workforce development for our county, so that our county residents are more employable. Our biggest employer here in San Juan County are our youth facilities and our youth program, our health facilities and our health programs. And so I think it'd be most appropriate for this new program that we're kind of throwing around the idea for, so that, at least we can have more trained people stay in the county, working for the county. Those are just some of our future plans for our home and community department. And here's our office. And I'd like to thank you for your time and everybody's time for hearing my presentation.
Can we have questions?
Any questions?
Go ahead, Commissioner Stubbs. Questions?
Okay. First, I want to acknowledge my first day campaigning, I ended up wearing a mask. We were wearing a mask. It was raining, and we're outside, a little roof, trying to have a radio advertisement.
Oh yeah.
And so
Yeah.
I met you, and you were so nice. I don't know if you remember that, but
And Red Mesa. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
I remember. Anyway, have you thought about applying for NRF funds? Commissioner Harvey, myself, you can contact me and I can kind of send you an application, a copy of an application. And maybe you can be under education, you think? They have special projects, things, as long as it serves inside the Navajo Nation. So anything that would be helpful.
Is that something where I need sponsorship through one of the chapters to provide
Not for the special project.
Okay. So I can just come directly to the. Okay.
Yeah, just send it
Mhm.
and we'll help.
Okay.
Usually, I can't remember how we had the board, but usually the chair there is happy to go with. Not, I have never seen any project being turned down. So that's one thing. Another thing is, if you go by USU campus there in Minor Valley and you turn and go around the bend there, used to be the old Head Start building, the little building there. Somebody from Monticello had bought the little house, I don't know what you call it, and she's remodeling. She's bringing up educational program. She's gonna have a summer program this summer, and I wonder if as your food, providing food, I'll be serving children in that area.
Okay.
Lots of children with special needs that sometimes have a hard time learning in the regular system. So I can contact you and give her the information in case she would qualify to receive some of that food that the children can benefit from. the
Yeah,
program.
please do.
And there's another little, there's so many people doing things and they can be created for special shops. Like, I think if we can train our youth to have jobs like checking solar panels, figure out how to operate that, learn about drones, what can they do for drones? Maybe they can find the sheep for grandma. I don't know if we can somehow introduce them to technology that they can open this horizon of things that they can happen for them. I was in Olchero for Money Valley for the Olchero chapter meeting and had some of their presentation of the testing the waters of wells and the one they have the windmills. And then I thought that'd be something if that person would give a group of students from this reservation, but the possibility they can, anyway, it's just things that can open their eyes. Well, maybe I can do that. Or
Mhm.
anyway, so thank you for coming and all the wonderful work you're doing.
Thank you.
All right. I just have some comments, Ryan. First of all, I'd like to say thank you for your service in the military. It's really awesome that you've done that, and just the fact that you're Native and you're a veteran. That's huge. So yeah, for your service. The second thing I wanted to tell you is I see you out there. I see you out there in our communities back home in Red Mesa. I know Mexican Water talks about you, Aneth. So thank you for being there. That's really important work that you do. As you can show in your slide, you're working and engaging with the youth. So that's pretty awesome work. So yeah. Just a couple of thoughts maybe to help contribute to some of your initiatives. I'm gonna probably speak more to some of the native speaking community members back home. I know USU has a very powerful instructor that teaches Daini Baizad. She taught me Daini Baizad, and I've been thinking that she would be someone valuable to maybe her students might have the opportunity to go out with you and to help with Daini Baizad translation out in the community members. I think that would be really awesome use of her students.
Would that be Mrs. Lacey?
Yes, I think that her name is Charlotta Lacey. She's an excellent Daini Baizad person because I'm one of her students, the best student ever. And so I think that would be great use of her students and the work she's doing to help engage more of the elders, because they're kind of like wondering too, what hahatish bahanet, and they're sitting there wondering, and I know you're doing great work, but that might help because you're always trying to give important information, and then sometimes you kind of figure, how do I take this context and bring it a little bit more watered down for community members. That's just one thought I had. Another thing I thought of in regards to food preservation, maybe it would just be my ask. Maybe we need to dig deep to our traditional roots. Right now, we've got a lot of sumac berries out there, and it's harvest time for sumac berries. And there's a way that the elders harvest sumac berries and store it. That would be cool to show the young kids, and then also the peaches. Right now, peaches are going to come, and they don't last forever, but the natives, they had a way. They slice them up. They do sun drying, and that would be really cool to kind of help our youth return to that. It's like, look what we used to do in the past. This is from us, and this is in place of cans, and those. So kind of hitting on those themes and connecting our youth, maybe the elders teaching the youth, that would be really awesome. And I can see you doing that with Reagan, with Susanna, and probably Jessica, even though she doesn't speak Daini Baizad, but she'll probably learn. But that's just some of my thoughts. I know you're only one person, and we're stretching you everywhere because we're in such a big county. But I can tell you that from Commissioner Mon, she kind of feels like, man, I'd love to bring some more resources up to LaSalle and the community there. And I think that was one of her requests was, is there a way we can also focus on the residents in LaSalle? Maybe it's just a matter of coordinating with Moab USU so that coverage works out. Because it's a long distance for you, You're out there and then you have to drive all the way back home. And that's a long distance. And there's only one of you. Maybe what the powers that be need to do is get you a helper. Because you're trying to do everything and anything to cover this big county, and maybe that might be the solution. But I think that was the biggest ask, is Ryan Benali is doing so amazing in the southern communities. We want some of that up here, and so maybe that's something that Moab can help with. But I see the great work you're doing, and all of USU working with our community members. That's pretty awesome, and very meaningful work. But that's my contribution, just some suggestions. Keep it up. Very awesome. I'm excited about the new open house, Monument Valley. We got invited to that. So I'm looking forward to the touring and just, meeting the staff there. It's going to be pretty cool. So that's something we're looking forward to. Do we have other reports, Mike?
Make a closing.
Oh,
remark.
go ahead, Commissioner.
I want to tell Commissioner Harvey that he had the best assistant and helper with Sue Nakai. I mentioned her that she was my former student, and they travel together and they do the projects together, and I think they're doing a very, very good job. So thank you.
Bueno.
Go ahead. We'll turn it to you.
Okay.
All right.
Do we have any more?
I don't want to take up too much time, but I did just want to give an update on the most recent large program. So I think I mentioned the last time I was in here that I got funding from two foundations to support tribal grazing knowledge. And I just hosted a 2-day event where one day we toured around from Navajo Mountain all the way over. We didn't make it as far as Montezuma Creek, but we were trying to get over there. And by the end of the day, it was 6 o'clock, and we're like, all right, we'll finish the last site. But what you're seeing is the agenda of the meetings that we did. I talked with, I think when I was first organizing this, I was just thinking, okay, all the people that are impacted by grazing. And then after I started getting everything together and, people were planning to come together, I started thinking, oh, I need to notify the county. I need to notify. So then I talked with Mac. Mac was going to try and make it. I talked with Tammy Gallegos. I don't know how these weather stations benefit, but she said contact Grand County, let them know that these stations are going to be coming in. So that's the work that I'm starting to do. And then we have a grad student that's working on the IRB for the Utah Navajo and the Ute Mountain Ute communities. And so the stations are specifically for Navajo Nation because there is no coverage south of Bluff and Mexican Hat. And so right now with Navajo Mountain, there's 2 stations there. So the Navajo Mountain Community School is looking to host. And then we're going to have another one at milepost 23 over near the big giant green water tank. And then as we move over into Monument Valley, Gouldings we're in discussions with Gouldings to host that one. And that station is going to be very unique because that is going to be donated from the Upper Colorado River Commission. They are only releasing about 8 weather stations to help increase monitoring impact of all the Upper Colorado River states. And so we would have one housed directly in San Juan County. And then as we move over, Mexican Water Chapter House will be the host. And then Red Mesa Chapter, we're probably going to have to do a land use withdrawal near the chapter, probably south of the chapter boundaries. And then with Montezuma Creek, Utah Navajo Health Systems was able to make it. So they want to host. I don't know what that looks like, but this would be a part of Aneth Chapter. I specifically wanted it kind of near the farming communities and along the river corridor. And with that station, we did a whole presentation so you can see all the things that we kind of discussed and went through. And one thing that came up that I didn't even think of is UNHS kind of thought, can we put an additional sensor to help start monitoring, methane gas or, anything that's coming off of the fumes in that community around the oil drilling. So these stations will not encompass that, but we started a discussion. And if Utah Navajo Health Systems wants to invest in those sensors, because they're about just for one of those sensors, it's about 3 times the cost of one of the stations that we're getting in to just monitor UV, wind, soil temperature, soil moisture, air temperature, air moisture, and those sorts of things. So what we're providing is a full system. These stations will be a part of the Mesonet system, which is a national weather reporting system. And the Mesonet is federally funded. And that's where NOAA basically helps monitor and keep track of that data and makes it widely available. Being a part of the Mesonet system, these stations, as we've discussed, O&M, USU Climate Center, and I'm trying to get all this right because it's not my terminology. The USU Climate Center will be taking on the ownership of these stations and doing annual site visits to replace sensors. But we are identifying and working with each of these communities to identify several people that would take ownership of helping with ongoing maintenance. For example, we have like a snow, I don't know what they call it, but the snow measuring device is like a bucket, and you can have birds sit on it, poop, and the sensor measures snow precipitation based off of the weight of the snow, and that's how they kind of measure accurately. And so if we have, bird droppings adding weight to the scale, we need to have somebody that's there regularly to be able to just do cleaning of solar panels, cleaning out the sensors, those sorts of things. So we're identifying that. And so once these stations go in, there's going to be, at least from my end, education and notification to all stakeholders surrounding of the resources, the benefit. We want to be able to incorporate this, and we told tribal communities, because there are definitely more traditional elders that did speak up of, are we moving in the wrong direction? And I politely explained that we need to have some form of measured data to be able to support our traditional narrative of how to tell and determine the weather. For example, like when the moon is a crescent moon and it's in a boat shape, we know that it's going to be a very cold night. So a lot of these things, and that has been ongoing. I have watched the weather with all the visual perspective, and I acknowledge every single thing that they have taught. Now it's time to teach our kids and teach them and give them the resources that they can pair with that to justify their knowledge, their elders' knowledge, and take that. And we can even expand this into other communities that are not as aware of this traditional knowledge and be able to share that. And so that's supporting our tribal communities there. We also have, aside from this, I've finally been able to identify a master gardener in Blanding to be able to take up that garden on the corner of 5th and Main. So she's starting to kind of get that together, and we're in discussion. So I've got funding that we're going to be able to shift over to getting support there, and then we're going to start bringing in Sterling scholars to be able to help support that network. And then, we're looking at future collaborations with FFA programs here in Blanding and San Juan County. And then as far as Monument Valley's FFA program, I've met with the new teacher down there, and we're kind of discussing some kind of support. But they have a large garden program. And then, as you guys know, San Juan County, Blanding and Monticello areas have a lot of livestock. So we're trying to help support that access for the kids to be able to have greater access into the livestock programs as they see and justify. So now that Michael Monson and Tel Walker a little bit more in their roles, and Nate, they kind of just turned over and about 3 years ago, and they were kind of getting their feet wet. So now they're at a point where they can start discussions and collaborations. So we've got some things working on there. I don't know that there's any other updates that I would like to give at this point in time, unless you guys have any questions.
Commissioner Stubbs, do you have any questions?
Yeah, I don't know if a question or comments, but so with these stations that you mentioned, the water or whatever, did you have all the ones you need, or do you need some more? Because I think that can be a project, maybe the NRF in combination with the Navajo Trust Fund.
Yeah,
They can do that, and I think where the reservation is so large, it'd be nice. I don't know, so that's one area that you can probably seek funds.
Okay.
But I think it's a worthwhile project, and I think it will be well received.
Okay.
And so I'm curious because you talk about the weather and the moon and things like that. I remember as a little child, if somebody was expecting a baby was near to be born, it was a full moon, people start preparing. And it's kind of interesting because I grew up with two different kind of culture. One culture, if you spell salt, you had to do lots of praying because of bad luck. The other
I know
one, you
this.
throw salt over your shoulder
Yes.
for luck. And so, sometimes it's conflict, but it's nice to honor our generations because there's wisdom in there. So thank you. I mean, you do so many amazing things, and I always admire everything you do and the energy you have. And anyway, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And mine are just comments as well. Thank you for your emails and all the different invitations to the events. We're receiving those, and they're very valuable. Both you and Ryan, thank you so much for keeping us in the loop. Very appreciative of that. And I'm glad you brought up Montezuma Creek, the great city of Montezuma Creek in San Juan County. That community, Red Mesa, Aneth, we're in an oil field producing community. And one thought that came to mind when you were talking about the air quality was the I know in the Wasatch Front, people purchase air quality monitors, if I'm not mistaken,
Mhm.
and they make them available to themselves. And I think they're just monitoring like the air quality level. But I'm wondering if you can help us connect to those kind of tools, because UNHS will attest to this. A lot of us that have been there, we're suffering from. You have to use this little thing and blow into it and get the medicine. Asthma, that's the word I'm trying to look for. Asthma sufferers. And where I live, it's the main route for the oil field workers, and they sure know how to kick up dust, because it's not their fault. It's just the road is very dusty, and we get dust storms like no other. And that would be interesting to be able to measure the air quality for dust, and also, the H2S that lingers in the air.
Mhm.
That's what the community members want to be able to learn more of, and to learn how it can be accessible to them, just to make them feel safe. Because I know that's been a concern for the longest time. That's really our go-to, because Navajo Nation EPA is not proactive with our issues, but we know USU can be, because you guys are there responding to our needs. And that would just be another thought, is if UNHS is in partnership with air quality monitors, maybe that's the solution, bringing that information more to the community so they're aware of those tools. Anyhow, thank you so much for the work you do, and for keeping us connected as commissioners, administrator, with all of the activities with USU. Thank you.
I just want to follow up with a few of your comments. So the stations, I think we've got decent coverage. Each station would have to be like, we have to have discussions about like how much money is coming in, so that being a part of the Mesonet system, that allows money to come back to the USU Climate Center for releasing that data into the Mesonet system, and that's what they use to help pay and justify their travel down to help maintenance and replace sensors. So just so that way you're aware of how that turnover happens. And then as far as oh man, I think I spaced it just now. Commissioner Harvey, you were talking about. I wanted to bring up that we have brought in the Navajo Nation, specifically Division of Water Resources this time. My understanding is, because we asked them, like, is there at any point that we should be expecting that the tribe would want to take ownership of these stations? And they have absolutely no interest. They don't have the money or the overhead to be able to fund the O&M and the database server to be able to make this data public. So they've had stations, and they explained that when they did have stations across the Navajo Nation in the 70s, that was an effort for, I think, to get the water rights settlement and some of the other settlements in place. And then after that effort and the funding dissolved, they didn't have money ongoing to be able to continue. So that's why all the stations then were removed. So they are more than happy to partner with universities. And so they did say that New Mexico State University was helping to start tackling station placement on the New Mexico side. Same thing with U of A and NAU. And so they're just happy to see that USU and Utah is helping to support the Utah side of this work. So yeah, they had a lot of questions of where do we access the data. So when we get these stations in, that's just the first focus, is let's get them in. And then I will be expanding a lot of different educational resources of how to approach every stakeholder and where people can access the data and what kind of data that they can look at. And so we have Campbell Scientific on with this. They are one of the leading international weather station developers. And so they have stations even on Mount Everest. They have a station. They have somebody that hikes once a year to go and check on the sensors, replace batteries, all the things. And so that's how they have a station on even Mount Everest. So yeah, we're trying to kind of bring people up to the times, but also not trying not forgetting where we came from. I wanted to let you know that just the rest of our week, because it is a big week for us, we have a lot of administration support coming down to our county, which is not very common. So USU President Mortensen will be traveling down today, and he will be present at the open house. And so he will be there from 2 on. There are some meetings and things. And then he will be doing trekking visits around Grand County, between Grand County and San Juan, looking at all the different building spaces and resources that are available for the university down here. And then on Friday morning at 8:30, we will have President Mortensen here, and then also my boss and the now interim dean of Vice President of Extension, Justin Smith, will also be here on Friday and on Wednesday. So Thursday, we have like kind of a break from everything that we're doing this week, but we're just really happy. And, you guys are welcome to come. It's going to be a casual visit Friday morning. You're more than welcome to stop in when President Mortensen is here.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
Thanks.
And I am Ryan's department head.
Sorry.
No. I just thought I would just ask if you have any questions for me, and you'll have a chance to meet with people above me as well. So anything that you would like me to take back to, I'll take back that we need someone.
Yeah.
But
I think Ryan could use some help because he's being stretched everywhere. So,
yes.
but we value his work. It's very good work, and Reagan as well. So they're very important players in our community, and we value that a lot.
Yeah, and it's nice for us to see people coming, because the road from there here is longer than a road for us there, and so it's very rewarding to us to try, because we're trying to explain our situation, how it is to work among different nations, and how I know when I cross the river, I'm in a different country, basically, and I had to abide by the rules, and finally, we cannot do everything for them because we don't have the authority. We just Commissioner Harvey said we just information. We're an information source for them, trying to assist them, and so we always like when we have visitors to come, and they returning visitors or new visitors. And I keep hoping once they see what we have, maybe they'll bring their family come. I want to say I traveled to the reservation, amazing purple flowers everywhere in a certain area, and the colors that we coming back, it's just the color, and the cliff was beautiful with the purple flowers. We had lots of the white lilies coming, just with a little bit of rain, all those flowers. It's a beautiful. You and I talk about the land. I wish we could have another ride like that. We can just talk for 2 hours. And that's San Juan County. Anyway, thank you, all of you.
Thank you much.
Thank you guys. I appreciate it. You're awesome. The whole team. It's super cool.
Thank you. Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's good to see you. Good to see you again.
Well, nice to meet you, Becca.
Good job, Ryan, man. That was awesome, man.
Tell me what's your job.
Yeah, you did awesome.
Good job, Brian.
Good presentation. I loved every word.
Thank you. I go now.
Don't tell Charlotte I've been talking about her.
Yeah, heck yeah. That's good. Good job. I love your presentation.
Jets Nielsen.
I loved your presentation.
Yeah, just
Hi.
Hey, thank you. It was good to hear your stories. I think of you in that little space. I'm like, oh, that would have been her office. That would have been so hard. Thank you so much for coming.
Yes, thank you for having us.
Yeah, crazy. Is it weird being back in the building and just like,
It is. It's kind of fun. And I always enjoy, like, we went to planting yesterday, and I like enjoy seeing.
Yeah, see if anything's changed or if it's gone downhill. Or
Yeah, for
no,
sure.
that's cool.
I feel like I have a kinship here. It's like I grew up here, but and I kind of did.
Absolutely. Yep, so true.
Yeah.
That's cool. Well, be safe out there as you travel through the county.
Okay, thank
So
you.
we'll see ya. All right. All right, item number 2. Got the review and final update of the commission policies and procedures.
All right. Who's got this one? Jens?
I don't know that there's too much to
Okay.
talk about here, but
I know we've been working on this, so.
Pretty hard and steady.
as far as I remember, in our last meeting, we finished the document, and we were going to see a final, kind of the final version. So I think the only thing for today is if the final version still had some edits to be made. I printed the one copy here, which is the clean, not redlined. I believe that's the final.
Yes.
Is that right?
Okay. Thanks, Ray.
All right. This is the clean copy
I think
without the edit.
I think in your packet you have the clean copy, and then you have the red line version, so you can see what the edits were. So I don't have any thing to add. If you have questions or feel like there are additional changes, then I guess you
I
can.
went to both versions, and I don't know. I mean, I wasn't sure how we're gonna proceed with this, but I have some question about, like, I don't know how we're gonna do this. Are we gonna?
Well, I mean, if there's additional discussion or changes or requests, I mean, I think the thing to do is let's talk through it, and if you want to address those again later, that a new version, that's an option, or you can say that they're all resolved, and at your next opportunity you can approve it. I mean, it's up to you, really.
Well, I just have some question, like a term and number in the not the red one. It's just the one that looks like it's ready. I don't know what your opinion is. It's ready to go. When they talk county administrator number 2, B number 2.
B2.
And this reference is through so I'm trying to figure out what that means. The county administrator or his or her delegate. So can you clarify what we mean by that?
Well, ideally, if a member of the commission is not able to attend a meeting, they would notify the county administrator. And if he's not available or she's not available, they would notify, I think in this case, it would be like Rosa or someone that can help coordinate.
In one of the previous versions, well, a couple of previous versions, you just had in there, it used to be commission assistant on there, or commission administrator. So we made sure that it matches what we have today, the county administrator. But then also in that discussion, we had added, upon your direction, was or his or her delegate in there. And so we had a discussion about, okay, if I'm not here, it could be his or her, so it's not gender specific delegate. And so we added throughout this document, anywhere that it had county administrator, it also has or his or her delegate. so then you're not reliant on just the county administrator. It gives you other options in there as well, and so that was kind of a fallout from what was presented in the past.
So, Commissioner Stubbs, are you wanting to change that language? Leave the language?
I think they
'Cause I
have
think-
changed pretty much the language. There's still some questions about, it seems, I'm trying to find the spot where we are giving the lineman more responsibility. I'm trying to figure out. I'm
You
trying to
mean the
figure
part
out
where a resolution is given to Lyman for storage, kind of? Is that what you mean?
I'm trying to, I thought we were gonna go over each area to make sure the changes were made correctly, but now they're not going in order. It's making it a little bit harder for me to figure out. Okay, so do you have any question, Commissioner Harvey? I still have, I don't think that we don't have a definition for max position. So we have a definition for everybody else, but nothing for the administrative position.
Wow.
And it seems like when I was reading, it looks like
Well, you don't have
The-
you don't have a definition for attorney or
The scope is
clerk
probably,
auditor.
the scope of this document might be a little more narrow than, I mean, you can add definitions for, I guess, whatever you'd like, but
Where this one is supposed to be.
Yeah,
which part you were,
oh, my part?
yeah. There's a part that I thought, well, is he aware that he'll be doing?
On the clerk auditor side,
Well,
on the county
There it
clerk,
is.
on
County
E.
clerk.
county clerk. And so, because I thought we're still working on it, so I thought we were gonna go, so we know he's supposed to attend the meetings. And Commissioner, is responsible for providing.
What are you looking at, Commissioner Stubbs?
I am in the corrected copy, and I'm looking at the E, county clerk E.
it's page 5 of the clean copy, right?
Yeah.
Under the
Uh-huh.
county clerk.
So there was one part I thought where he had the time to do all that stuff. And so in H, the agenda, we're talking about having the agenda.
Okay.
Page 7.
So page 7, H agenda, there has a question. So my question is, we're talking about the chair prepares the agenda, but what happens when the chair is not available? And it's kind of hard to locate the chair, and because of distance, communication, I think somehow it should be able to, a vice chair, if we cannot contact the chair for one reason or another, either distance or being at a service area, whatever, seem like somehow we should add, have a, if we cannot communicate with the chair.
So you want to add like the vice chair as an alternate on number 1? Is that what you mean?
Yeah,
I think that's totally fine if that's what you want to do. it kind of goes without saying. I mean, if you're going to be
Do you
gone,
know
then
what I mean? I mean, with
yeah. I
the-
mean, I
with
think
the
it's
you know, we in distance, and we may be, Commissioner Harvey may be on the way, or there's traffic, different reasons, and we cannot communicate, or somebody needs a contract, whatever, a way to be able to communicate if it, okay, also, number 3 on the agenda, for this one, we have, right now, what are the rules right now with the agenda, Mac? Because I hear different things. Right now, they have to be in by 5 on Thursday.
Mm-hmm. To
Um,
be included on the agenda. Now, throughout the past, this one sometimes gets to a point where it's hard to make that 5 p.m. I think we need to add a clause in here that there can be exceptions to this. Now, the difficult part with adding exceptions, I mean, we've seen it in the past where all of a sudden last minute you get an agenda item that's added, you know, and then it's out of the blue and nobody really has time to properly review it, either from a legal standpoint or, you know, it just all of a sudden appears, you know, at the last minute on a Friday, we're sticking it on there and it pushes the time frame to get the agenda items out to approve the actual agenda. And so this one's a little bit tricky for me. I think there needs to be some exceptions added. You know, there were some important contracts that were taken off from this agenda today that really, by settlement agreement, should be enacted on before the primary elections so that we have contracted individuals on the Navajo Nation to help them through the primary. And so there's things like that I think need to be exceptions to the rule. But yet it should be at the discretion of the commission chair. It shouldn't be a hard line.
But
You can make it at 5, but
yeah, certain thing, it should be the chair, but certain things should be the commission. Is there a
Yeah.
place like with a situation with the contract that,
yeah,
you know, we obligated through whatever,
we could do
to
push
do this,
approval
to
to
have
the
that.
chair and vice chair so that we don't have to try to get a hold of all 3 of you.
yeah.
You can do the chair and vice chair's
I guess,
approval.
but like
for,
in a situation we are here, we know that we're not gonna be on the 5th,
yeah,
so that they had to have whatever Lima need to do with
and
the
contracts,
workers.
Yeah.
It put them close to the primary election.
Yeah, and
And
especially
so-
when they're consent agendas.
So I think to me, is there a way that we can make a motion today to put those back in the agenda? I don't know. I was just talking about.
No, you're past that 48-hour window.
so they have to be the public have to be part of the notification
24
to the
yeah,
public.
24-hour.
The late addition for your rules is okay to have an exception, but the public notice part we
Okay,
can't.
I just wondered how we solve this situation for Lyman, you know, because it does have to have.
Yeah, that one's a hard one.
I think just a reminder, you know, that we can make any change you'd like here. We can add, you know, exceptions according to the commission or whatever. That's fine. But like any policies and procedures, you're probably going to have some. I mean, you're just going to have some exceptions, you know, and
Yeah.
you're going to have situations that aren't exactly represented here that you'll just have to work out. And the underlying, of course, as we've talked about a lot of times, the underlying principle here is that the commissioners govern. And so, you know, if Mac's gone for a month vacation, then his delegate or whatever is probably going to be Rosa. But if she happened to be out, let's say she was out sick, and they're both gone. Well,
Yeah,
you guys can just, well, okay, yeah, we'll get together and we'll make a decision. So good to have this, you know, specific to address all number of possibilities, but
Why would we have this in there, Jens, where if this is supposed to be a commission policy for the meeting, for the
you talking about H?
just the administrative portion in here, why is it necessary that we have these sections in the policy at all? Because this is administrative.
I know.
This policy is supposed to be, according to Johnny, when he came down, he's like, you need to separate administration out of your commission procedures. So commission procedures by state code is really about the conduct of a meeting and giving the public an opportunity. Those are them. But yet you have this administrative bulk in here that isn't really needed.
I would compare that to what they call dicta in the legal opinions, that the judges write. The judges make a ruling on a certain point, and then they start talking about stuff that's kind of on the periphery, and that's not part of the holding or the ruling, but people are like, oh, this is what they mean by, so it has a application, and it's important, but it's not the ruling. And like you're saying, this set of policies and procedures could be very small because it's just this meeting, this group. The added in stuff is probably more informational. It's dicta and maybe helpful for what's expected, from third parties and so forth. But I agree with you that it could be concentrated even more if desired.
Because basically what we're trying to, this whole thing is about this meeting.
Yep.
Yes.
But to me, it seems like it's standard in so many outside the wall.
Mm-hmm.
Because the chair, basically, the position of the chair is this meeting. And I think it's just, I don't think, like the simpler, the better for people to understand what the rules are and to have, we're supposed to have them on the table for them to read. I read this for many, many times, and I confused already. I go, I know I saw that here and there, but and some of the things are kind of vague, and I think the problems we had in our meetings is because people don't follow the basic rules that we're trying to implement, to bring things on time, to make changes in the middle, or to not have material for the packet. Sometimes we are here in the meeting, somebody just hand us out whatever.
The contract or whatever.
Contract or whatever. And so I think 99% of the people that come before us, departments, they know the rules. They are prepared, they come, we have no problem with them. They know. And sometimes we have a situation where people come the last minute with something and it's confusing enough when we have the material. The problem with this time, we didn't get the material too late, and I was traveling all this Sunday, and by the time get home and start looking at all this stuff, it's just.
Do we change that time frame? I know that so when you read through the policy, and we've always kind of tried to follow the policy, is everything in by 5 p.m. To the county administrator. So when you read this, it's like, okay, get it to the county administrator by 5. On this one, we have an agenda management system that we put everything into. So they had it to me or Rosa waiting to go on the agenda for finalization. They may not have been in the system to show that, hey, this was submitted at that 5 p.m. And so we've got to make sure that if we're relying on the Municode timestamp for that validation that it was in there by 5, we've got to make sure that that's there instead of if it's just to the county administrator by 5. Because Friday for us, literally, we call it packet day. And Rosa and I are putting together the packet. We're adding things to Municode, on a Friday after the 5 p.m. We were searching through our emails. Okay, this needs to be on there. We're adding it on that Friday. And so when we're kicking things off because they weren't on the agenda management system, before 5 p.m., then we're kind of, that means Rosa and I need to get it there before Thursday at 5 p.m. And so we need to be a little bit more clear on this. I don't think employees should have to work the weekends waiting for approval for agenda.
And this was the whole Saturday waiting. I just kept checking and
But
checking because I knew I was going to be gone.
I say that and point out to you that that's also difficult, because if we are getting things and we're trying to finish contracts, finish documents on a Friday to get them onto the packet so that you have a full packet and you have that information before you, sometimes it does where we're sending out that packet to the commission chair for approval after 5 p.m. on a Friday. So we're working late already, and I don't think it's fair to expect the county chair or commission chair to be right there readily available at 5 p.m. on Friday to approve setting the agenda. And so I think we need to think through and fine tune this a little bit better. Have some exceptions that are allowed in there so that we can get it timely to the commission. The whole point of the timelines in here is that we're not surprising you, we're not surprising the public with hidden documents and hidden items, that we give it to the public and to you in a time manner that throughout the weekend through Monday you have time enough to study the packet.
And I was surprised how many people.
I was too, and I got a lot of
we
texts.
said
like,
people
where's
don't pay
where's the
attention,
agenda? Yeah.
I mean, they're calling. I haven't seen an agenda. Did you know an agenda? And then, at first, I thought I couldn't find it. So another one, I have a question. St. J.
Hold on, Commissioner Stubbs. We're kind of there's a lot of things happening here. So we've been working on this, and these are the changes thus far. Mm-hmm. So what we should do is identify the solutions. That's what I think would be important here. So let's not focus on yesterday, the other day, but let's talk about solutions. If we're not accepting H 1 through 6, because that's what we just heard the both of you talk about, what would be a solution to clean those items up so they fall within the timelines you just described? What would be helpful?
All you got to do is change human nature, and then you won't have this issue.
Exactly. Huh?
You got a policy for that they'll follow. You'll never be able to write. I'm just predicting you'll never have a policy adequately worded to address every issue. My recommendation is just leave it flexibility for the commissioners and the county administrator to decide.
Because for me,
you're just going to have to do that sometimes.
Because for me, all this boils down to is one thing. We're putting all of our agenda item requests in on Thursday at 5 p.m. That's how I read this. Mm-hmm. That's it. Mm-hmm. Nothing more, nothing less. So anything that comes after Thursday 5 p.m., it's late. We're going to have to not include. So right now we're just addressing getting the agenda ready. That's how I see this. And if it needs legal review, then the county attorney will review it. So
you're saying, no, don't allow any exceptions on there. Just hardline it. Anything after 5 p.m. on Thursday.
How about just a suggestion. Like I say, if you left it just as it is and then you made exceptions, you're not going to be in trouble for that, right? As long as there's not a disagreement about it. One thing you could do is in number 3 is, instead of must be received by 5 p.m., say are expected to be received, you could change the wording so it's not so hard and fast. If you're concerned about the occasional need to add something a little later, and you're concerned that by doing that you're violating something, you could change that wording to be a little more permissive, and then, but you don't want to live in the exception area. You want to have that really be the exception.
It should be an exception to the rule. Now, somebody said, well, I didn't make it in time, but I had time, you know what I mean, kind of thing, and then we're still back with, somehow it had to have a final line, but maybe it can be a way when somebody can.
I think what you guys are trying to bring up is an emergency item, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's no identification of how an emergency item should be properly handled here. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so what if we do this? Maybe what we need to do is address the emergency item that may come up, which is what you both are talking about. For emergency items, maybe under 3 we can do A and just insert any emergency items.
You could put a comma after the word meeting and then write in
That's another
excepting
idea.
for emergencies, or except for emergencies, or
Right. What if we do that in emergencies?
except in case of emergency. I don't know.
In case of an emergency, the request will be reviewed.
Except in case of emergency and approval by the chair or the commission or something.
Yeah, let's do commission. In case of an emergency, the items will be reviewed by the board or the commissioners
Okay.
for inclusion on the agenda, something like that. How's that? Does that work for you guys? That way we have breathing room for emergency items.
Sure.
Emergency items will be reviewed by the commission to be added to the agenda if necessary.
If necessary.
That way we get that
We have a leeway.
contract on there. Okay, I like that. That kind of gives us an extra option.
Does that work for
We
you,
can push
Jen?
it out to the 3, and then
Okay.
so some of them aren't going to be emergency related. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, I forgot.
Right.
It's like, well, it's not an emergency, but
Very good. All right.
okay.
Now, Commissioner Stubbs,
Well,
you had another new item,
Yeah,
right?
I just wanna,
Where are you at, Commissioner?
number, it's still on the agenda.
Okay. What number?
I'm trying to, number 5,
Number 5. Okay.
it talks about all agenda items shall be submitted for legal review by the county attorney when the first review. It seems like we have a very busy attorneys for them to be reviewing each item. Shouldn't that be filtered by the county administrator and maybe the chair at that time? Is this something that we have a question and could have an issue, then at that time it can be submitted. But to have all the items, it to me, we just give them more work to attorneys that feel that really had too much
Okay.
work.
What if we remove the word all and then replace it with the term questionable, or what's a different word?
What is the process now? I mean, I received the packet by email, which is probably a little bit after this step here. And of course, it would be to the county attorney, Mitch Mon, that you're talking about here. So what's the process now? What gets sent over and what
So
doesn't?
they come in to the agenda management program, and from there, any contract that needs legal review, we send to Mitch. And so Mitch is able to get into the agenda management program, pull those down and review those documents. And so it's really all of the legal documents. So the legal documents, and it reads in here earlier with the county attorney, there's specific documents that you have to review by law. And so by removing all and then just placing legal agenda items, then I think that would cover it.
What if we put legal contracts and?
But it's contracts. It could be scopes of work. For an RFP, notices to proceed, to award a contract, and so there's things like that aren't necessarily contract related, but those items by law that they're supposed to review.
Okay, so
I think if you just leave it as legal
documents
agenda items
or legal agenda items.
Yeah. They don't need to. Our county attorneys don't need to review the appointment to a special service district or appointment to a board. But if we do a notice to award, they should review those. And so it gets into kind of these required documents that it's in state code that the county attorney is supposed to review and to approve, or to review, not necessarily approve.
If you sent everything to the county attorney, along with those that you're intending to be reviewed, probably county attorney would just kind of look through them and say, okay, this, and then do their work on what needs to be reviewed. If there's any concern that something is going to be missed or by not sending it all, then, but I mean, I agree that, a lot of items on every agenda are just not needing any kind of really legal review. So,
okay, Commissioner Stubbs, we removed the term all, and we're replacing it with legal agenda items instead of all agenda items. Are you comfortable with that?
Oh, yeah, I think that.
Okay.
So are you just going to add something like agenda items needing legal review are submitted? Is that what was the wording?
I just added the word legal. Legal agenda items shall be submitted for legal review by the county attorney. And so it's going to be up to us to make sure that we're following Utah code on there for those legally required, and even him, or her, making sure that that legal review, the agenda items, is taking place. The hard part, and that sometimes I feel sorry for the county attorneys, is you get an agenda with 36 items on there, and a majority of them are contracts. I think the fortunate part is a lot of our contracts are repetition and amendments to other contracts, and so it should make it a little bit quick. But even Johnny Miller, he had mentioned that sometimes even the state gets their contracts wrong, and so even though it may be a repetitious contract, it's still noteworthy to have that legal review on there.
Sure.
Okay. I like the clarification. Instead of all,
because that gives him that requirement. Everything has to be reviewed. He has to read that whole entire packet.
So now, for the record, we removed the term all and replaced with legal. Looks like we have 10 minutes. Any other items that we want to change, Commissioner?
Consent agenda.
Okay, where are you at now?
Page 8.
Okay, you're on page 8,
J,
letter
two.
J. Number 2, okay. I'm here. I'm there. What are you thinking, Commissioner?
And then number 3, the number 2, we move out to the consent agenda, and then number 3 shall be voted as a single vote. So the items on the agenda are approved by simple majority vote. But the thing is that means that in the past, Commissioner Herbert, you had asked items to be removed to
Right.
clarify and basically just to try to explain to your, to the public in your area what this mean. And so that means that under this, we're not allowed to say, okay, there's something in the consent agenda that would like to
Okay, so here,
clarify. So I don't know.
here's the remedy, Commissioner Stubbs, on number 2.
Number 4 on the next page. Sorry to interrupt you. Might address that question.
Okay, go ahead,
It
Jen.
does allow you to pull things from the consent for business action.
Yeah, so
Is
number
it-
4 just says that you can remove a consent agenda item.
If you look at number 4, Commissioner Stubbs,
Number 4.
number 4 is on the
It's
next
on the
page.
screen.
Can you?
You'll have instances
Okay,
where
he hasn't.
once in a
Any
while you
item?
want to remove one and discuss it, or
Okay.
That seems like it gives the leeway to remove it from the commission agenda like I have,
Okay.
and then bring it before the business section. So there's the remedy, Commissioner.
Okay.
Are you comfortable with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's there. The consent is supposed to be quick and easy, no discussion. But there
yeah.
have been items you want to discuss further,
Yeah.
so you push them to the business agenda. They're already on the agenda, so they're properly public noticed. You just move it around.
Okay. We now have 7 minutes remaining. How do we want to move? Do we want to just continue moving this to the next work session, Commissioner?
I
How?
think we need to keep working a little bit
Okay.
more on it. So I don't know.
I think this is still a working document. So I will motion. No, this does not require a motion.
well,
But you can direct.
Okay.
Yeah, so in the past, what we've done is whatever changes were made, Mac was going to insert those as
Okay.
a red line so we could see them.
Okay. So then directive will be, if you're good with it, Commissioner Stubbs, we're going to move this to the
To keep
Next.
working till we.
the next work session agenda
On the 21st.
on the 21st, and then the changes we just made today with the red line, we will have at our next
And
work
can we
session.
put today's date and those changes so we know.
So yeah, so on the one that you reviewed today, on the red line or one of them, I have the date up at the top, and so I'll do that same
Okay.
thing.
All right. Are you good with that,
Yes,
Commissioner?
thank you. Sounds
Okay.
good.
Jens, thank you so much for your work. Thank you to County Attorney for his work in helping us to get this moving forward. All right. Anything we're missing on our work session that we did not get to yet, Mac?
No, we just need to. Well, we didn't get to the other items. Is just adjourn, and then we'll get ready for the next meeting.
Okay. Can you scroll down real quick? I mean, let's see, what did we miss?
Let's see. Sorry, I'm on the wrong one. I might have closed it. I closed it. Hold on.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Let me get up to the top. It was just a motion to adjourn. So we had the org chart we were going to review today, the
Okay.
purchasing policy, and then adjournment.
All right, just to address the remaining 3, let's see, we didn't complete work session item 3. We didn't complete work session item 4. Commissioner Stubbs, if you're okay, I'd like to move those items to our next work session agenda
The number
item.
3 and 4?
Yes, to April. It's May, right?
Okay.
When is our next meeting, Mac?
May 20 something.
We'll move it to our next work session meeting for May 19th. Are you good with that?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the second. I mean, the third.
That is, sorry.
Tuesday.
Not the 21st, it's 19th.
Okay. All right
So
then.
we can get a little break.
We just need to make a motion to adjourn so that we can go to the
I'll make a motion to adjourn from the work session.
motion to adjourn meeting work session by Commissioner Stubbs. I will second that motion. Let's go ahead and vote. All those in favor to adjourn our work session meeting, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That's 2 nays, or 2 yes. Majority vote for exit